that they either involve it in their own businesses, or they're working in a company or a startup wherein they are responsible for the digital marketing area, or they've started their own venture, their little or small business, and they're trying to grow it with the help of digital marketing. Luckily for all of us, digital is just a click away. And being born in this era, I think digital comes very naturally to all of us, but there are also advancements that are happening each that it's very difficult to keep up pace with all of advancements. And for this webinar is also shaped in such a manner that focus less on theory and more on practical. By that, I mean, you're free to ask questions throughout the webinar. Please feel free to put any questions in the chat and we'll address them at the end of the but feel free to ask any question. No question is silly. Secondly,
sorry, Navpreet, sorry to interrupt. Your voice is cracking in between. So if you are comfortable, you can switch off your camera as well. We are like okay with that. Yes.
okay.
Yes, please continue.
I hope that would be better now. Sorry for the lag. So this, I was about to present my screen. This presentation that we are going to see today is more shaped towards practicality. So your questions are welcome throughout the presentation, and feel free to put them in the chat and we'll address them after the session. This is also less based on theory because you would see many snippets of digital marketing mentioned in tweets, in LinkedIn posts, or in any other news articles, and influencers, creator platforms, Instagram creators, that channel. So there are a lot of areas where you can grasp all of the digital marketing information in theory. So there's a lot of content available online. So we're not going to repeat all of that or sink in too much into that, but we're just going to brush up a little bit on the theory part so that we are in tune with the session, and then we'll cater on to all of the queries that you have. Allow me a moment to share my screen. I hope you can see the screen now.
Navpreet, you are at the Zoom page right now. Yes. Yes, we can see your screen.
Great. Can you see the PPT?
Yes, we can see the presentation.
Thank you very much. So like I said, we would just brush up on the theory parts of it. Digital is less about theory and more about practical. So we'll just brush up on these topics and we'll then venture on to more of your questions and real life events that are shaping your digital marketing strategy in your organization or your startup. So digital fundraising is largely based on digital marketing, and that is why we are talking all about it. And it is the use of all the digital media like Google search, social media, websites, reels, YouTube videos, any digital content platform to raise funds from individuals and for causes that your organization works for. So be it any cause, this does not have to relate to any particular human related cause, but it can also be causes related to animals, causes related to environment, climate change. So any cause that your organization is working for, we can use digital media and marketing to raise funds for it. There are some causes that are very good in terms of advocacy and branding, and more about talking and changing people's behaviors. But there are other causes that are very good for raising funds and for making those causes appeal to people in such a manner that they are not only contributing their voice or time, but also contributing their money. towards the cause. We'll go on to start off with the finding the right medium. There are three types of media that are available: paid media, owned media, and earned media. Paid media is the media that you pay to advertise on. It is social media ads, Google search ads, YouTube ads, and any other ads that you see online. This media, you have high control over it, but it typically generates immediate results, and you need not have to wait for a long time to get the results that you want. The results could be in terms of donations, it could be number of people reached, or impressions served, or reaching the right kind of audience that you want at a specified cost. So there are different result metrics that we'd see further in the seminar. Owned media is the media that you own. This is the media that you govern totally. It's your blog, website, social media profile, your YouTube channel, your any online presence platform that is totally governed by you. Now, this is very helpful in establishing a brand and also to build awareness around your brand or around the cause that your brand or your organization is supporting. Because this is owned media, so it requires a lot of responsibility in terms of regular content creation, management of content, management of queries that are incoming, management of people that are trying to get in touch with the cause, whether it's for donation purposes or for any other help, volunteer, or generic queries also. The third is the earned media. This is not owned by you, but it is earned by third-party activities that happen to link to your platform. It could be reviews, it could be backlinks, it could be web articles that mention your organization's name or the cause that you're supporting and link back to your website. So all of this earned media is something that the reputation that you earn online by all of the links that are coming in, and all of these then go on to your own website. Now, this appears to be the most credible and influential form of media only because you cannot pay for it. Also because you do not own it. This is just earned. So the more you earn, the higher your reputation is in the online marketing space. And then it further helps you lower your costs in paid media advertising. Because if you have made a very good reputation online of being an organization or a brand that is supporting their cause willingly and heartfully, then there is very less convincing that you might have to do to attract people for donations, for money, for time, their energy, or their volunteering. So the more you focus on earned media, the easier it would be to get results on paid media. This is not directly proportional, but it is consequential. So just to summarize this in the last line, paid media can drive traffic to your own media channels, which is the things that you own, be it blogs or websites or your YouTube channels. And then owned media content can also be shared and exemplified through earned media. So your YouTube video, if it's very good, it can also be linked to a certain news article where somebody is covering up a certain cause or a topic, and then they can link back to your video saying this video is good for educational purposes, and then they can link back to it. And again, earned media can help boost your brand's credibility and trust in the online marketing space, and thus the results of paid media. This is all a very good loop. Please do not call it a vicious circle, but it's a very good loop of media available online, and you should leverage all of these media as a organization. Second, we go on to managing our budgets and costs. So while we are starting with digital marketing or digital fundraising, we're often faced with the question of how much should we spend. There is no benchmark to it. These are often the questions asked to digital marketing agencies sometimes, and what amount do you suggest us to spend, or what is the minimum amount that you should spend? There are multiple factors that are influencing all of this. We'll briefly touch upon some of these factors because you might have heard them in your conversations You might have also seen them written in some online articles or say LinkedIn posts. So we'll briefly touch upon them. There are also different platforms and channels available for you. So for example, you've set up a budget. It could very easily be some budget that you take up from your organization's profits and then put aside only for marketing purposes. Because this marketing will also generate more funds for you, it is not just an activity that is only going to be spent and not reaping results for you. Further, we would have to decide on how much do we have to spend on paid, earned, and owned media. Um, but uh, roughly, it has to be something segregated out of your overall budget, so that it is then directly proportional to what you expect out of digital marketing. If the budget is too low, we'll see what too low means. What is the benchmark, or how do we calculate the benchmark based on our own organization or the industry? So there are different channels and platforms that you can evaluate basis the past performance that you might have seen on those channels. Say, for example, you might have run paid advertising on a certain channel, Google Ads, for example, and you might have seen very good results on that platform during a particular time of the year. But when you're trying to start again, you go back and think of how Google search ads reaped very good benefits for you, and you want to start them again. Very good idea. But you also want to see the future potential of it. If you're going to raise funds for a certain cause that is not being searched by people, or people are unaware of that, there are no searches online happening for it. So there is no use running the same Google search ads, even though those ads performed very well for you in the past run or in the past, but they might not always be good for this stint. So while it's good to evaluate past channel performance, it's not always good to replicate all of what you did in the past. It's good to take it up, reevaluate the things that you did in the past, what went good, what did not, and what is the current and the future scenario that you project, and then use up all that past performance into the plan that you make for the future. I also say balance pull and push medium. So pull medium is all the medium that you do not have to um, go chase. It is something that you just have to invite. For example, Google search. It is something that people are searching on their own online. It's just that you have to be present as an organization or a cause there on Google search. And you just have to pull or attract people like a magnet to your own website for telling them about your cause, or to raise funds, or for any other activity that you might wish. Push medium, on the other hand, is something that you have to chase after. So, for example, say Meta ads or Facebook ads, Instagram ads. This is not something that people are searching for. They just see it in their stories, in their reels, in on their feed. These are the ads that you as an organization push for and then deliver to your target audience that you have selected in the frequency that you have selected, on the days that you have selected. You can also decide what you want to show, for how long, all of that. So this is a push medium. You have to push through and you have to reach the people that you think are the best uh, for the cause that you're promoting. Third is to consider flexibility. So while first we talked about that allocating a certain fraction of the total marketing budget into digital or into digital fundraising or digital marketing, it's good to highlight all of that, but also you might have to consider this is a very flexible amount. If at all you see very good results coming from your digital um, expenditure, and you're investing 100 rupees and you're gaining 200 rupees, for example. So if you're getting good results, please feel free to be flexible with your budget and invest more on it. If you see success somewhere, please invest more on it. If you see failure somewhere, please do not get disheartened. Just shut it off, just pause it for a while. Everything in digital is so beautiful that it can be paused and re-enabled or restarted at any given point of time at the flick of a button. It's just as simple as a toggle. So while you see something performing very good for you in terms of results that you expect from it, feel free to increase more budget on it, give it more time, give it more of your marketing spends. And if you see something which is not performing, which is not delivering the results that you projected it to deliver, then feel free to either pause it for a while, evaluate the results of it, or we would also see in the upcoming time that sometimes even after evaluation, you might see that this will perform good, but it does not. So it surprises you. And it could be factors beyond your control, say the political environment, or it could also be something related to, say, the cause that you're currently promoting, and a new law comes in, or some ruling from the court comes in and then changes how you work as an organization. So be flexible and always be adaptable to your digital marketing budgets and the media plans that you make. All of these should be flexible enough to incorporate any changes that are coming up. And while I told about changes externally, there are also changes happening in the digital marketing space itself, which is machine learning, AI. And you might have seen the rise of AI in the last few months, which has been tremendous. So the way that it changes things is also at the same speed and scale. So while you cater on to certain things, you might also miss out on developments that are happening within the digital landscape. So please be mindful of them. You can be updated about them digitally on all platforms, all social media platforms that you are currently present on, but you can also be aware of them by uh, attending such seminars and webinars where we talk more about how you can leverage this. Of course, this is not fully focused on the changing landscape of digital, on the inclusion of artificial intelligence or machine learning into the space, but we can also arrange that in the future. This is about monitoring and analyzing data. So like I said, while you are making your budget and while you are making your campaigns, once they are out in the market, once they have started uh, getting onto people, once they have started showing results, you also get to understand how you want to shape them up in the future. And that's when the monitoring and the analyzing of the data comes into the picture. For example, you might have seen there are multiple campaigns running on different platforms that you are doing, but you do not know whether or not this is beneficial for you. If it's even producing good results, could it even go better? Is there a benchmark? Is there a certain standard you must put it into its place? For you, it could be good, but is there a scope to do better? What if there's no scope and you're already doing your best, and then you're trying to just um, hit hard against the wall and not getting results because you're already doing the best? On the other hand, there could always be scope to uh, do something. So maybe you're missing out on something that you could still push on. So how do you understand what is the benchmark? For this, we'd come on to the first point, which is conducting market research. This is to understand what your industry and what your competitors or your collaborators are doing in the digital space. This could very well be a very offline activity, or it could also be a digital research. By offline activity, I mean to say, if you have contacts within the industry or within your collaborators and competitors, please talk to them. Please discuss ideas on what they are doing in their digital landscape, how they are organizing their uh, digital media plans, their ads, their data, and how they're organizing the entire trail of digital marketing for their organization. Digital research, on the other hand, could also give you some more benchmarks and activities that from your collaborators or competitors where you do not have any links or contacts in. So there are ad libraries available on Facebook that you can easily log on to with your Facebook account. And you could see what are the ads that are being run by other organizations in the same space. What are the ads that are being run for the same causes that you support? Are those ads looking good to you? Is there something you can learn from those ads? Or is there something that you think that the ad is not doing great, but you yourself are doing already great in that? It could be inspirations or motivation on how to craft a better language, or how to create a better looking graphic, or how to create a video, how to, for example, how to set up a certain carousel sort of ad, wherein it's a collection of graphics. So there is multiple things that you can learn from what your competitors or collaborators are doing, or what your industry in general is currently doing. Now, this is also dependent on various other platforms. I just took the name of Facebook Ad Library because it is one of the uh, most easily accessible tool that is available, and it is also giving you access to one of the largest platforms that people use for digital advertising these days. There are other platforms like SEMrush, SEM Rush. There are multiple platforms like Talkwalker, Hootsuite. They can also give you insights about the industry and how industry at large is doing and what you can learn from it. Great. Once you've learned from it, you've set a benchmark on what you can do better, what are the things you can learn, what is the area of development or the scope of increment that you can do. Now, the second point is considering the additional costs. You can factor in any hidden cost in the beginning, but always be flexible, like I said, for the marketing budget, because there are hidden costs, there are additional costs that might happen. So for example, in your first step while doing the market research, you get to understand the industry and the competitors in a way that you make a list of 5 top things that you want to do in your digital advertising, be it on ads, creatives, videos, or any other asset that is being used in your digital marketing or digital fundraising landscape. And you can just factor in all of that. But to get into all of those 5 or 6 observations that you made from doing the market research, there might be some costs involved. If there is a certain kind of graphic or video that you want to be made, um, it could be the case that you have to hire some videographers or team or actors on other budgets like that. So all of these costs you might not have factored in the beginning, but these would come on later in the area. You could also have costs related to tools and software. So I'm sure you might have used tools like Canva for making your graphics and other assets for your digital fundraising campaigns or marketing campaigns. And these tools do not come free of cost for the entire package. They, of course, have a small access to them free of cost, but not all features are available till you subscribe. And that would again come to additional expenses and costs. So this would again increase your marketing spends that we talked about in the last slide. After this, once you have catered the additional or the hidden costs that you could not do it in the beginning, then you come on to also allocating some funds for testing and experimentation. This is just for your own learning. Once you've learned from the market, after the market research, if you have got down to some points, there is also some self-learning that you can do. Suppose there are 2 kind of graphics that you want to test. What if I say some line in such a manner, okay, time to act now, or don't just read, but donate for this cause, or some line like, please support and help us today. So you could easily test between 2 graphics, 2 headlines, 2 different kind of bidding strategies, budgeting styles, all of the nitty-gritties of digital marketing. You can easily test all of them, and it could be a self-learning exercise for you. Once you do that, you would understand what kind of imagery, what kind of communication works well for your audience. Your audience could be very unique, and whatever working for some other organization for their cause might not fully directly work for you. It could work in a manner that might need some modification or a personalization from your end. And this self-learning exercise, or the testing and optimization or experimentation that I'm talking about, is going to help you in that. There are also separate tools for testing and experimentation, but there are also inbuilt features of testing and experimentation within advertising platforms, and they're very easy to set up. You just have to provide them, say, two different type of things. Say you design two different websites, but both of them are going to generate funds for you. One is a more content heavy website, and other is a more graphic heavy website. And you want to test what kind of website works well for people, and which website do people see and are more likely to donate. And you can easily put it into the platform's testing tool wherever you're running ads. And you could set up a budget, you could set up a time period to test this. Recommended is 15 days, but it could also be longer than that. And then self-learning will come into play. The third is monitoring and adjusting. So once this happens, and once you have, say, reached the right set of audience after self-learning, after market research, the right set of creatives after self-learning, after market research, and the right set of budget or bidding strategy that might work best for you. Once you have reached a combination of a very good campaign that is working for you, all you have to do is gradually increase spending in that campaign so that it is generating more and more results for you as days go by. But you also have to track it closely to see whether there are any anomalies that you see. Are there any dips that you see on Mondays? Are there any increase in results that you see on weekends? Because people are more free and they are more using social media than a weekday. So trends like these can only be observed if you are tracking and monitoring your campaign on a daily basis. You don't have to tweak or change anything in it, but you just have to monitor and observe for a couple of days. Because the more you tinker with your campaign, the less likely it is to learn from machine learning and optimize itself. So I suggest you tinker it less, but just observe and monitor it more. When comes a time when you have to change something immediately due to an emergency or due to your increase or decrease in marketing spends, then of course we'd come down to why or how we should change something. Is there a way we can slightly change something and not disturb the entire platform? Is there a way we can change something and then let the platform some breathing space to adapt to the changes? We can also talk about that. The second is to optimize your budget. Like we talked about in the beginning about how do we manage budgets. If you see something working great for you, please feel free to increase spending in it. The more you spend on it, the better results it will get for you because it's already working for you. So it's more likely to work even better for you if you spend more time and energy and money on it. You can also optimize your budget in a negative way, which is if something is not working for you, it's not giving the results that you wanted it to deliver, then you can either evaluate its performance, make changes to the campaign, stay for a while and see those changes are working. If not, then you can pause it completely. And you can then, while it is paused, consider how it performed in the past, what worked well for it, what changes did you make, how the changes impacted the performance, and do a complete rehaul of the structure or the creative or the assets that used in those campaign, and then relaunch it again. So there's no harm in pausing and relaunching if you have a strategy behind it, or if your motive is not just to run mediocre campaigns, but also to run campaigns that deliver more results for you. Now, while you're doing all of these activities, monitoring and analyzing or adjusting, I think the most important part for you is to keep a track of all the changes that you're making to those platforms, and also keep a track of the reports or the data that you're analyzing. For example, you make a certain change in a certain campaign. You need to make a note of that. And also the data that you used to make that change or to come to that decision of making that change. So I think this would just help you in retaining the knowledge and I think knowledge management in itself is very good for the maturity of your organization to grow and to get more people on board and help them also understand how your organization has grown over the years, learning, analyzing, monitoring, adjusting, everything put into place. So I think a very solid management of data and decisions made on that data is very important and crucial for going ahead. These are some of the most famous or popular tools that you might see uh, in digital marketing landscape. Google Ads, Meta Ads, you might have already heard of, but they also cover all of the ads that you see on some smart TVs that are owned by Google, all of the ads that you see on certain websites where you read news or where you're reading about a certain article or if you're reading about a certain press release. Those are also governed by Google ad properties. YouTube ads are also governed by Google. Meta ads again comprise of Facebook and Instagram, but they're also going on to WhatsApp ads in the future. Not right now, but I think it's a very solid advertising platform that you should be present on. And Google ads and Meta ads comprise majority of the expenditure that happens in the digital marketing landscape for most organizations that I know of. But it's not a mandate. There are other platforms also available in the market that could work very well for you. It's up to what you try and what you get results from. Google Analytics as data analysis or a monitoring tool. Google Analytics also then attaches itself to your website. So any activities that are being conducted on any advertising platforms, if they land up to your website, all of the data also then comes to Google Analytics. It can give you data on the number of users, the sessions that are coming in, average time per session, which of the URLs or which of the web pages are being used the most, what is being visited the most, what are people coming from, are people seeing an ad before people directly searching for your website, or are people first seeing an ad and then coming to your website? What is the different touch points before they land on your website? There's a huge amount of information available on Google Analytics, and it's very easy to get lost in it. I think it's a separate webinar in itself, but Google Analytics, if not implemented, would make you feel FOMO. And I think if installed on your website right after launch, it can give you tremendous amount of very usable and tangible pieces of information that you can link back to your digital marketing plans and your budgets. The fourth, which is a very flexible uh, I would not name a particular tool for it. This is just a web development or a customer relationship management tool. This is particularly helpful if you are running a big website and there is a lot of content that you have to cater onto. You have to inventory of, say, certain products that you sell for fundraising, or there is a huge base of donors or individual donors that contribute to your organization. So there is, would recommend, there are different tools that work for different the scale and the budget, but a very reliable tool that would help you reap benefits great. So that's all for now. And I would invite you all to, and I'll go through the chat. Over to you, Ashwarya, if you have any comments.
Yes. Great. Thank you so much, Navpreet, for this wonderful introduction about digital campaigns. I'm sure, like most of our organization in today's time, We rely on like digital, like, campaigns, or running probably one like good post on the social media, which can attract a lot of newer audience, fundraisers. So, I mean, these are absolutely very important tools that you have explained. So, thank you so much. Going to the question part, we have received few questions. So, I would request, let's quickly go through the chat first and see the question, and then later on we'll take up if there are any additional ones. Yeah. Great. So we have received a question from Sujit. Suggestions for free, accessible, and reliable resources to understand theoretical aspect of digital marketing. Asking because not all influencers or posters may not be able to give the gnosis of the associated with each topic in a single post. So, Sujit, do you want to ask the question? And probably because I can see there are more questions as well, so you can unmute and ask this question. Or now, Preetya, you can also answer this question.
Yeah, Aishwarya. So, yes, I had these three questions. So, one was around basically reliable resources that are easily accessible to understand the theoretical aspects of digital marketing. I think this was something that Navpreet mentioned in the beginning of the session. Again, I know that there is a lot of content out there, but then the problem is that one, it's not collated in one place, and secondly, you do not know how reliable it is because you don't really know who is making these posts. Anyway, so that was, I wanted to ask for suggestions and recommendations on that. And then somewhere in the session, I think he talked about using machine learning for analyzing and understanding basically the performance of the campaigns that are out. So I think I might have missed that part. I'm not sure. So I just wanted to check if he mentioned any tool that he recommended. So that was something that I asked. And then towards the end, he also talked about knowledge management, which basically what are the decisions that were made based on what data. So considering organizations that have like low resources, this is still something that can't be not prioritized, right? So it's just that in with a lot of restriction constraints on the resources that we have, is there again like what would be a starting point or how do we set it up? So these were the questions I had. I hope that clarifies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sujita.
Sujita. Yes, over to you now, Preet.
Thank you. Thanks for asking these questions. I'll begin with the first one. So you rightly said there are so many resources available online. It's just like a problem of plenty, and we do not know what to rely on the most. So I have a couple of names from the top of my head that I also used in my early days and that I keep accessing from time to time. One is Google Digital Garage. It is also called Skillshop. I can send you the link afterwards in the chat. Google Digital Garage or Skillshop. You can search for it and you'll get a link to it. It is a free online website or a space wherein you can go and learn more about digital advertising in general, but also Google Ads if you want. It can also give you some insights on Google Analytics and the machine learning part that you were mentioning. I'll come on to that again. There is another tool called Blueprint. You can search for Meta Blueprint or Facebook Blueprint. It is also a tool which has most of the resources free of cost and governed by Meta. But it is also a tool wherein you can get a paid certification should you need that in your organization or the line of work that you might be currently doing. So these two resources, I would say, are the topmost. Google Analytics Academy is also one of them, but I think it is getting merged with Google Digital Garage in the coming time. But for now, it can also be looked upon separately. So these three tools, I type and give it to you along with links very soon. Screenshot. Um, the second thing that you asked was regarding machine learning in the analysis. So there are also separate tools available, but machine learning also happens within the advertising platform. So for example, if you go to Meta Ads, it is automatically learning all of the decisions that you're taking. So there is a feature called Advantage Plus. If you switch on that feature, it can help you optimize your budget. It can help you optimize your creatives or the graphics that you use in your advertising. And thirdly, it can also help you optimize the audience that you're targeting. So there are three layers of Advantage Plus that is available. It is all machine learning, and the more campaigns that you do, the more it would understand on what budget suits you the best, what is your audience targeting that suits you the best or the most suitable for you. It can also give you the kind of graphics or images that are best suited for your advertising campaigns. So that is built within the Meta framework, and it gets better and better the more time you spend on it or the more advertising you do on it. It keeps learning from it and gets you better results. Apart from this Advantage Plus, there is similar kind of recommendation engine built within Google Ads. It is known as recommendations slash insights. Any of these two words can be used for it. And this basically analyzes your entire campaign and gives you insight on what you can do more or what you can do in a better way. This can also help you make decisions in a manner that might help your future campaigns get better results. Now, there are certain nuances to this. Because it's machine learning, it's not 100% correct, but it is far greater than what a human could do. So, like you mentioned, a resource crunch or limited resources at the moment. So you could make use of all these machine learning within the platforms that are freely available while you're advertising. So they can analyze for you and give you recommendations based on how your campaigns are performing currently and then how they would do in the future. External tools, if I were to ask, then my recommendation is Talkwalker or also SEMrush. These tools will help you analyze your data, but you would have to link them to your data warehouse. Your data could be placed in a CRM. It could also be placed in a ads or advertising platform, but they have to be linked to this external tool for that tool to learn and give you insights. The third question that you mentioned, with low resources, you're right. Knowledge management could be a challenge, but I would recommend that you keep it very informal or very less structured, so it's easier for you to implement and not too heavy on the operational part uh, to require an additional resource or to require additional bandwidth from an existing resource. For this, you could use say a simple Excel sheet as well, just logging in what changes are being done in the advertising campaigns and briefly mentioning that what data was used. If extracting the data as a report, attaching it requires a lot of work, and um, that resource or that bandwidth could be used in a better work at the moment, please do so. Please avoid that for the moment, and you could make it very informal. But I strongly advise to do it, even if it's informal, because it would just set up the base for a very good knowledge management in the future. And if the resources change or uh, in the later parts of, say, years or your organization maturing, you are not able to pull in resources to do a advertising campaign right from scratch, all of these insights that you did in the past could really help you get the groundwork ready in place for whenever you want to run your ads on. I hope that answered your question, Sujita. We'll also move on to Babul.
Yes,
Babul
thank
Film
you so
Society.
much, Navpreet. We have one more question from Babul NGO Film Society. That is, can you quickly explain full medium once again towards the end? So, yeah.
Sure. So pull and push medium, you could imagine it in a way that pull medium is something that you do not have to chase after or go towards your audience to get their attention on. It is just a pull mechanism. So it is something available in the market, but you just have to be present on it. For example, a Google search. So always remember pull with the Google search because people are searching on Google for a certain cause or an organization or a certain trend or a certain topic. And if you as an organization supports that cause or that topic or wants to get involved in the conversation or wants to attract people's attention and um get donations for that cause, you just need to be present wherever uh, that search is happening. So it's just a pull medium. It's just to attract people who are already searching for your piece and attracting them to your website or your social channels or any of your owned media channels. I hope that clarifies.
Thank you so much, Navpreet. Thank you for the clarification. Is there any other question from any participants? If you have any question, please raise your hand, unmute, and you can ask your question. If you are unsure about the question at this moment, you can also fill out the form and include your question over there. Okay, some tips for organic outreach. We have a question from Babulenji.
Sure. For organic outreach, I would suggest that we leverage certain trends. So, for example, if I were to raise my organic outreach on Instagram as a platform, then I would get on to some ways that the reels are being built. I would slightly move away from text and graphics for some time and move towards reels and videos for some medium. So even switching the medium from a graphical user interface to a video also increases the potential outreach for them. You could also use the trending music or the trending ways that these reels are made. So it could be based on any of the current trends. It can also be based on any of the current topics that are being talked about uh, uh, during this space that you're launching this video or reel. The third point is you can also leverage the kind of new age graphics and animations or um, transitions, video transitions available. And all of these tools are available within the platform itself. You do not have to hire a certain resource and make them in a Photoshop or a very advanced uh, medium or a tool. You can make all of them within the platform. It's just about how you creatively make use of all the resources there. So just go out there, create a few videos, reels, hit and try. You would get used to the interface, and then I think creative juice will come flowing in, and uh, we'll see. But we'll give you a follow on social media platform, Babul and Geo Film Society, and we'll help you further organically boost. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Navpreet. Um, okay, great. So, in case you have any questions and you would like to ask your question in detail, I've also shared the feedback form. Kindly fill out that and you can mention your question over there as well. So later on, I can go back to Navpreet and he can revert with an answer. Yeah, so hopefully that would work for everybody. For now, thank you so much, everybody, for joining for today's webinar. I hope it was a great learning experience for you all. Thank you so much, Navpreet, for doing such an interesting session on digital marketing. I know how we all rely on that, but we don't have that kind of like equipments or resources or understanding to actually execute this. But I think after this webinar, we'll have more clarity on how to run our campaigns. Yeah, so thank you so much for your help, your support. And we are very glad that we could, like, have you third time for our webinars. So thank you so much for your time and your effort. Thank you so much, all the participants, for joining. And we really hope to see you all for our next sessions. And yes, if there is anything, please fill out the feedback form or reach out to us, and we'll be happy to answer your queries. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much once again, Navpreet. And yes, thank you. Hope you all have a great evening and happy weekend. Take care. Bye.